One of my favorite leadership books is Extreme Ownership, and written by Jocko and Leif. And yeah, I'm a big follower of Jocko, but he talks about in that book why most SEAL teams were there's only about 5 to 6 of them in a SEAL team, depending on like the what they're going into. But what's interesting is the commander is always in the middle of everything. They're not leading the pack, they're not behind the pack, but they're in the middle because they get to see everything. But he always talked about how at some point you have what's called the fog of war, where you are just in the mess, you're in the suck, you're and you're not thinking strategically. And what you need to do is pause, take a step away. And that was a big eye-opening thing. I was like, there's so many times where I'm just like, I'm in the business and I'm in the business. I need to step out of the business to look at the business. And what are the things that need to be addressed? And so that was a big eye-opening moment for me when I started doing that.
It really is a different way of thinking, and having that self-awareness when you're in it, as you said, the fog of war, the fog of business is a powerful thing.
Yeah, the fog of business. I think I read it. I don't know if it was a Harvard business study, but I think it was like a majority of like the amount of percentage that CEOs, Fortune 500 CEOs spend on strategic planning in their day. I think it was close to 60% of their time is devoted to strategic planning. And they're thinking about things 3, 5 years from now. They're not thinking about, hey, what's going to happen over the next 3 days. It's interesting.
If
And so I was like, if it's good for CEOs, we should probably be doing this.
And it's one of those things where it's like things won't be, I'll wait for it to be good, then I'll start doing it. It's the other way around, as counterintuitive as that may seem. And if I were going to liken this to advisors that are thinking about, maybe they're a few years in, they just really got their feet underneath them. Maybe they're looking to get a first assistant, or they're further on and now they're looking to have another assistant, but they're going to call them a COO, maybe even a CEO that they're bringing into their business. It's going to be that situation first, right? It's going to be, okay, think about it this way around. Right now, because they might be thinking, man, like it's a good idea to add this person, but it's a good investment of time and money. But think about right now, those things that you can, sometimes the owners will go and backfill some of those things, even if they're high level tasks, someone else could be doing them. They're never going to get backfilled themselves, right? And so think about the opportunity cost of that. I just had someone today talking about getting another assistant. Like, should I get this assistant part-time or full-time? And how should I think about it? Now, think about what it's going to mean for your opportunities if you can have this person coming in and buy back some of your time. What could you reinvest that? Because it's easy to see the actual costs, the hard costs, but miss that opportunity cost sometimes on the back end. So powerful frame.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's every time we have a problem within our business, I'm always thinking now, who, not how. Who can facilitate, who can help us out with this problem? Not how do I figure out how to deal with this problem? Because this problem may not be my expertise. And I'm not going to, and I'm also the type that, unfortunately, it's good and bad, is that if I don't understand something, I still want to understand it. So I will go down a rabbit hole for 2 days and then I'll become the expert in that thing. But it didn't help us at all. It was a waste of time. So I'd rather find that who instead of me trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and even if you do go down that place, having a who in your business to pull you out there so you don't get stuck down there. Hold on to your feet while you go down there. I want to switch gears for a second, if I may, because I find this is always a really interesting topic for advisors. Now you've got the firm, now you're thinking about it you're acting mostly as a leader, focusing marketing stuff. Talk to me about referrals or introductions, as I like to call them. How do you think about introductions and referrals as it pertains to business? What's your philosophy there?
I'm a big proponent on asking for introductions. One, I don't like the term referrals. I think the word referral is just not, it's a lot easier for me to say to you, Nick, hey, let me introduce you to this person versus let me refer you to someone. The other factor is typically when we are asking for introductions, it's usually at a point where they've been a planning client of ours for at least a year, where they're in our client service model where we're doing one of their reviews throughout the year, and we'll just ask some questions. And it's more about making sure that we're quantifying the value that we've brought to them, that they're happy with us, that we're open to their feedback. And so there's a couple ways that I've approached it. I've used the Bill Cates method over the years. I've even used a method by Carl Richards, which I thought was really helpful. And what I did was I looked at my top 10 clients, but it was a different mindset that I had to do with referrals. And this is what I've shared with all of our team. But Bill Cates' message is asking more directly, where Carl Richards is more about putting your researcher cap on for a second and saying, all right, let's find our top 10 clients and let's look at those top 10 clients. Do we want to replicate those top 10 clients? I think the answer for majority of us is yes, we want to replicate those clients. What's the best way to replicate those clients? The best way to replicate those clients is go talk to those clients and ask them to be introduced to more clients just like them. And I created an email that just simply said, hey, when can we get on for a quick Zoom or maybe go out for a cup of coffee? I've valued your business. We valued your business for quite some time. We've enjoyed working with you. I would love to ask you some questions around business development. And that's what I called it. It was business development. We're going about a way of how we're marketing our business. And I'd love to get your feedback on it. And so took them through that process. There was usually a couple situations that happened from this. One, my goal was not to get a referral. It was just to get a good idea. If you were me, what would you do? How would you approach more clients like yourself? And 9 times out of 10, I usually got a referral, which was funny. It was not my goal. I was not trying to get a good referral. I was just trying to get a good idea. Like, how do I tap into this market of client? So second thing I would get in that conversation is I would actually get a good idea. Hey, why don't we go golf? I'm going to bring out 3 of my buddies that would be a good fit for you. And I think it'd be a good interaction. Third is I get a bad idea and you just politely say, oh, okay, I'll try that. And then you don't implement it. And then the fourth one, which really surprised me, was, hey, Jay, I didn't realize you were taking on new clients. I was like, you know what? That's on me. I wasn't clear enough with you, but if you see the value in the work that we do, what I would like you to think about is who are the people that you care about the most that would enjoy an experience like this? And that opened up a lot of doors.